America is a land in crisis, whether we like to admit it or not. The cold, hard truth is that the youth of this land of the free, need to be increasingly brave in the face of growing violence. Last year, 1 in 13 children reported being victims of a violent crime, and over 2,000 school-aged children were murdered in the United States. It is true that not every child uses drugs. Not every child engages in violence. But every child in virtually every school in America sees the signs of drugs, feels the fear of violence, and sooner or later, every child must make one of three choices: stand up against violence, join the young thugs who prey on our young people, or stand idly by. And that is why Do the Right Thing is so important. It asks students in middle schools to write about violence that they've experienced and to make sincere commitments in those writings to do the right thing in their own life and help to break the cycle of violence that surrounds them.
Actually, one sunny afternoon, on the news they reported a story about two high school boys found dead in an alley. They showed pictures of them and of two crying families. I know I recognize them. It just hurts too much to recall everything that has happened in the past. There was some information.
These centers would also be a place for youth to come and play basketball or any other sport. They can also do projects and other things to keep them off the streets. But I would also
pain that is so terrible to describe. You try to open your eyes, but realize that your eyes are open, but you're not able to focus or see. You can't hardly breathe because someone has stuff caught or
Doing the right thing these days is very difficult in many ways. The violent movies that we see are the way so many feel they should be. All of the fighting and war are what plots seem to be about more and more. Youth and teens.
Since the inception of the program, over 135,000 children from 450 middle schools in 18 major jurisdictions have participated in the program. Over 50,000 have taken the next step by submitting writings on youth violence. It's a wonderful program that works. The surprise is where the program came from. The program came about indirectly as a result of the actions of one of the 20th century's most violent men, Saddam Hussein. To tell you the story, here's the former President of the United States, the Honorable George Bush.
In 1991, following the successful conclusion of Operation Desert Storm, the people of Kuwait wanted to find an appropriate way to express their thanks to the American people for restoring freedom to their country. Since the children of Kuwait were the ones most victimized by the violence of the brutal occupation by Iraq, the Kuwaitis decided to establish a Peace Memorial Fund, which would support programs in the United States aimed at reducing violence affecting America's young people. The Kuwait America Foundation was established to administer the fund. In 1995, the Kuwait America Foundation developed a pilot program in Washington known as the Do the Right Thing Challenge. The program, which emphasized personal responsibility, challenged students to identify the causes of youth violence and write about what they personally can do to resolve the problem. The Foundation's pilot program was successful beyond anyone's expectations. The students wrote with great hope for America's future, but also talked candidly about their often terrifying personal experiences and their fear of violence. Many of the outstanding responses were published and distributed to community and national leaders across the country. In 1997, based upon the success of the pilot program, the Department of Justice, the National Association of Juvenile Court Judges, and the National Guard Bureau joined with the Kuwait America Foundation to expand the Do the Right Thing challenge to other major cities and counties across the United States. Last year, over 50,000 students from 36 states participated in the challenge. The Do the Right Thing challenge works because it creates a new network of positive communications between our youth, their teachers, and their community. And this is why I support the challenge. And this is why I urge you, America's students, teachers, and community leaders, to get involved, to do the right thing.
Each year, 7th and 8th graders are asked to write an essay, to spell out the problems and talk about solutions. Finalists from each participating city are invited to Washington. The writings of these young people will be published and placed in the Library of Congress.
The 21st century is a scary place for young people. Violence in all of its forms stalks them. Words that are uttered in person, written, or transmitted electronically are hurtful. They are intended to inflict the maximum amount of pain. Physical attacks that range from bullying that's intended to humiliate to deadly conduct that is both chillingly casual and callous. Our children, in their writings that resonate with all of us, state that they are fearful and are victimized at home, in their neighborhoods, and at school. There are no safe havens. They are assailed by popular culture and an entertainment matrix that glorifies deviancy and scorns decency. The fashion industry has made prepubescent boys and girls sex objects. It is incumbent upon us to reach out to the young people. And yet, even a cursory reading of their writings reflect the confidence. Our young people have examined this problem. They have identified the causes of the violence. They know what the effect is on them and their peers, and now they are proposing solutions. These same children speak now with confidence that they will make a positive difference, that they will turn things around. And they will do that by exerting personal responsibility, by leadership, and by setting the example. And we can do no less. We must join them. Please stop the violence. Please join the Texas Do the Right Thing Challenge.